We are currently learning about models in our middle school classes, and so I just wanted to show you in case your students are having a hard time. So for this first one, what we have the students do is draw two squares, one square for each fraction that's represented. So with this first square here, the denominator, we've been doing rows for the first one and columns for the second one. So this is going to be our column, this is going to be our rows. So first we draw two separate pictures. So we're going to have a picture with three rows and then a picture with two columns based on the denominator. And then they're going to color based on the numerator. So the numerator says we should have two of these colored. And then on this one, we should have one colored. So now what we have them do after this is we have them put them together. So we're going to draw one shape and we're going to combine everything. So our first picture has three rows. So we add the three rows and then we're going to add the two rows that are colored. So we're going to color two of them. And then we're going to add the columns. So we had two columns and the left column was colored. So we color it. So from here, what we do is we add or count up how many pieces have both colors. And in this case, there's one, two pieces, and our shape is cut into six pieces. So 2 out of 6, and this can be simplified, but for now we're focusing on the model. So a student can always check this. So 2/3 times 1/2. When they check this, they can multiply straight across. So 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 2 is 6. So this model shows what we would have gotten with our traditional multiplication. So let's look at what happens when we have a mixed number. So we have the mixed number 1 1/3 times 3/4. Because I have a whole number in front, that's a 1, I'm now going to need to draw one extra square. So I need a square to represent the whole number. It's a whole number of 1, so 1 square. If it was a whole number of 2, I would draw 2 squares. And then a square to represent our fraction. So the 1 and the 1/3 are together, which means when I cut this one into a third, I'm also going to cut this one into thirds. Our difference here is going to be for the 1, we're going to color all these pieces because to make 1, it meant 1 was completely colored. Every single row was colored. And then only 1 out of the 3 was colored on this one. Now this one is going to have 4 columns. You could flip these, but we've been doing rows and columns. And then we're going to color 3 of the pieces. So in the last example, we only had 2 total squares. So we only needed 1 square when we put them together. When we put this together, we're mixing the green with the orange. So that's going to happen twice. So we're going to mix the green with the orange for the total 1 and the green with the orange for the 1/3. So I'm going to draw 2 squares to put these together. So when we put these together, we're still going to have 3 rows. And then my first complete square is going to be completely colored just like it was up top. So I'm going to color it all orange. And then my second square is only going to have 1 row colored. And then for my columns, we're going to have 4 columns. And then we're going to color 3 of them on both shapes. So we're going to color 3 on both. So we're going to color 3 columns over here. And then 3 columns over here. And we're going to count how many pieces have both coloring. So if we count how many pieces have both coloring, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 pieces have coloring. Now this is where we have to be careful. We're not counting all the total pieces here. We're not going to come up with 24. We're counting how many pieces was our shape cut into. And our shapes were cut into 12 pieces. So this shape was cut into 12 pieces. And this shape was cut into 12 pieces. So our denominator is telling us how many pieces we had cut it into. Just like up here, the denominator was 3. We cut this one into 3 pieces and this one into 3 pieces. We didn't say 6. We said 3, even though we had 2 squares. So 12/12, which is 1. So we check this with the traditional method. 1 1/3, many teachers will have students convert that into an improper fraction. So 1 times 3 is 3 plus 1 is 4. So that would be 4/3 times 3/4. And when you multiply straight across. So 4 times 3 is 12 and 3 times 4 is 12. which we could also simplify to 1. So this is how you can do models. You can also do models with circles, but I found for my students that modeling with these rectangles where we were talking about rows and columns has been much simpler than modeling with the circles together. So I hope this helps your students.